Welcome back to Buy or Invest. And this time around, what we have is Sword Art Online Alicization Volume 2. In this series, what I look to do is figure out if I'm just going to buy a set for myself, playing wise, collecting wise, or am I going to go a step further and buy extra boxes in order to invest in them, sell them in the future when they're higher. Again, me personally, what I rather do than selling them is just keep them till when I'm like 60, 70 years old, taking a look at that dark, dusty place where I keep them and then open them for myself. But again, the investment part is I expect them to appreciate over time and sell them if I were need money. Okay, so with that said, let's take a look at this. Right off the bat, this is going to be a nice looking box. It's very overall pretty. I mean, I say that because when you take a look at some of these other boxes, right? Like Fate Stay is okay. Like you got this really nice color going on. It's not just the white uh, background, I guess. Like you, same thing with slime. I want some color. I want some niceness to it. Beaufry had some green going on, right? It wasn't just plain. So right away, box is really cool to look at, which is always a good thing, especially if you like collecting sealed booster boxes, right? The more it pops, the more exciting it is, right? So we have some SP cards, and normally I save this for later, but let's just talk about them now. So right away, SP cards in the set, they are not actually signed. They are going to be stamps of the redesigned quotes and character names. This time around, they actually have serial numbers attached to it. So zooming in here, we have these serial numbers out of 10, which is going to be pretty amazing from a collector's standpoint, especially if you know anything about what's happened to the prices of Asuna on all the other sets. So this should make for a huge collector value. Right. So moving forward, what I take a look at is the anime following. Again, anime following is very important to this kind of game, Weiss Schwarz. Again, it's because we know there's a certain player base, collector base that already exists. What they look to do by putting out a new set is trying to get more and more people, more awareness into this. So Sword Art Online has a big following, and it's been around for a while. So the people that don't know about Weiss Schwarz, it's one of those ones where they look to pick up that extra player base or collector base. And as you can see, this many Sword Art Online stuff is out there. There's all these merchandise, all these books, there is games. So again, there is a huge player base, and it's held on pretty nicely over, I guess, all this time. When did this actually first come out? Let's take a look. I did not look at this. 2012 when the anime first came out. So over time, it's just been coming and coming. So right now it's 2020 for World War of the Underworld Season 2. And so based on that, anime pretty strong. There's going to be enough people if they want to pick up some more people because of the anime. They're going to be able to do that. Not everybody in the world knows about Weiss Schwarz, and this should help out into selling more product. Next thing I do is take a look at the actual strength of the set. Again, if you haven't checked these people out, check out PGH Weiss Schwarz. They do a bunch of different set reviews, and obviously they've done one for Alicization Volume 2, Strictly Broken. They also have a tier list here if you want to check them out. So pretty good stuff. I think I'm going to be really excited to play some of these decks. And again, this is Encore decks, what I'm showing you here. The nice part about Weiss Schwarz is the fact that you can make a variety of decks, right? That's the reason why people buy play sets. And when it comes to Sword Art Online, the nice part about that is there are enough cards where you're able to make waifu decks, like decks dedicated to certain people. And that's what you're going to find when you look out on here for Alicization Volume 2, right? You'll be able to find some Asuna decks, Alice decks. You even have Yuki Shinon deck, right? So you have a bunch of them out there. What I'm excited for is Mother's Rosario, and then just for fun, probably this 8-wind Alice, but I don't know how that's actually gonna go. Wind's not my favorite. I definitely, as I've said before, I like choice. So this one is going to be pretty cool for choice, right? And these two cards I have pulled out here, Asana, Unbreakable Fighting Spirit, and Asana and Alice fighting together. They're going to be pretty huge for this deck. And then also, again, your climax, which would be this one right here. So again, choice trigger. 8-wind Alice, I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like this could be good against certain decks. The bad part about this Sword Art Online is Alicization 2 is the fact it is Volume 2. So there are going to be some cards that you may want to use from the previous set. This time around, it's not as heavy as Slime. Slime, you really needed to have some cards from the past. This time around, though, not so much. And you could take a look from this. So right here is Alicization Volume 1. And again, with Slime, there was a lot of cards that were just completely gone because you need them for Volume 2. With Alicization, as you can see here, 2, 4, 5, 10, 4, 9, 8, 2. Here's a 35 and 40. But you get my point. Like, this is not out of the realm of you playing this deck as is. The other bad part about Volume 2 is the fact that some of these decks, when you look at these decks on Encore decks, you're going to start to notice that you've never seen some of these cards before. And you'd be right, because this thing comes from the 10th anniversary set, which English does not have. And will we have it one day? I don't know. But as you can see here, 10th anniversary, this is a 10th anniversary card. It's going to be one of those ones where you can try to use some of these decks as ideas, but you're going to have to make some substitutions because of it. But overall, Volume 2 is one of those ones where I think it's playable even if you don't have Volume 1, if you don't, and you don't have 10th anniversary. It'd be nice if we got 10th anniversary and make it more powerful, but at this point, we can't help it. We can't do anything about it. So as I take a look at the previous set, what you do start to notice is the fact that these SP cards are either gone or really expensive. And what I said earlier about Asana right here, you can check her out, 15 grand. Again, that's just a joke. It's got to be a joke. I can't imagine anybody buying it for 15,000. I know some people just put it out there and hope for the best. But as you can see here, the SPs are bought and they are expensive, right? They hold decent amount of value. And if you want to buy a booster box, it's still out there, but it's at 270. Also, trial decks back in the day were 20 some dollars. Now they've inflated to 65. I forgot that card is there. Jeez. Let's see. So you can see right here, August 13th, they were 25, actually 30s. 30s. This is probably without shipping. So they're $30 now. They're 70. I guess just because the Alicization 2 is coming out, so people just are charging more. So I remember back in the day, remember when JKTCG was having that sale? It was like $10, something like that. It was pretty nice. But anyways, overall, we have these cards, and yeah, it's overall good. You know, again, plus side double rares aren't that expensive. SP's proven that they will actually sell. Next thing I want to take a look at is JKTCG, because again, there's a reason why I did that video yesterday about signed cards and unsigned cards, is because we know now for a fact that unsigned cards don't really sell as much. They don't. They don't sell at the price that they should. So again, what happened back in the day was, and the reason why I made that video was, when I look at JKTCG, there was normally you're getting a premium compared to the Japanese version for the English cards, right? So if this thing was, let's say, $100 for the JP version, you could probably be looking at 200, 250 for the English version, right? And but that only holds true with the signed cards. What we're getting here is not signed cards. Again, what we're getting is these unsigned ones and then a possibility of getting a serial number one. So when you take a look at the video I did yesterday about unsigned cards and then apply it to what we have here, what you're going to start to realize is there is going to be a whole lot of cards that have no stamp, that has no signatures on it, that are going to be available for sale. And people are going to put it at double the price. And more than likely, it's going to sell first 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days, whatever. And then it's just going to stop selling because people aren't going to be willing to pay that price for something that's not actually signed, right? Because more than not, they're going to realize I can just buy the Japanese version here and have the actual signed card. It's actually going to be special to have that signed card, where this thing is not so special, right? Asuna might still sell, but in general, you're not going to be able to sell some of these cards unless you drop it heavily. And that's what I mean. That trend is broken. So what we're going to be doing here is just taking a look at what they would have sold for and apply that to now these unsigned versions. When we take a look at Yuyute, what we find out here is Asuna, as expected, is going to be our very, very expensive SP card. And it's true. I mean, it holds it across all the different series that they've had. And then we have Alice and Shinon as our two backups, I guess. What's actually surprised me is Leafa. I didn't realize people just hate Leafa, apparently, since she's the lowest and the most available. Look, they got 9 of her over there. Even had Yu-Gi-Oh above her. It's kind of different. All right, so let's just take a look here at all the different cards. So this set is pretty beautiful, and when you take a look at all the cards collectively, it's going to be a fun set for people that love Sword Art Online, because there's a lot of art that people are going to enjoy. And again, we have Asuna and Alice. There's a whole lot of like pairings in this set, right? So you have Shinon here. You have, see, this is what I mean by the pairing. Asuna and Yuki. Yeah, Alice, Asuna. So this is the part where I'm saying like people are gonna like some of these. Alice, Asuna, 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 Alice. I love this art. This thing's gonna be really cool. The SR of this. And then Amor, Asuna, and Alice. And my favorite, Yuna and Eiji. I love that. Ordinal Scale. Such a good one. And here's our SPs again. So again, overall, if you take a look at this, these are some very beautiful cards. People are going to like it. But the one other thing that was different about it, and that's what I meant, like, this set's pretty interesting. So not only do you have unsigned cards, not only do you have serial numbers, you also have overframe rare cards. So these very, very nice looking cards. Where was I? Here. There. See, so if you compare the two, you go from that one to that one. Very nice. You had Mother's Rosario. That throws me off because of the translation, but here is this card, and here's the overframe rare. So much nicer. All right, take a look at those two. And then you got the big daddy here, Kirito. And here is this overframe rare. This is pretty huge. When you take a look at the price on this one, $148, which if you notice is basically the same price as this Asuna. So not only do you have a chance to pick up these SPs, you have overframe rares, and these overframe rares are pretty nice. For the anime, we know that people love this anime. They buy the merchandise, they buy the books, they play any sort of games that come out, and this is going to just be another addition to the Sword Art Online collector set. So what we got then is 5 stars. Meta strength, this set is going to be good. It's not S tier, it's A tier, and it is missing the 10th anniversaries. it does have the drawback of all of the sort of different traits that you have going for it. So it's not, you can mix them together, but you have to be very careful about the traits themselves. So meta strength, we got 4. Volume 2 strength, again, when I took a look at Volume 1, when I take a look at the decks, again, the drawback is there is going to be that 10th anniversary missing. But at the same time, I think there is enough cards, enough tools that you'll be able to play Volume 2. And I gave it 4 stars. You could say, I think it's 3. Yeah, you could probably make a case for that. For me personally, I think it's good enough as is that you could say it's still 4. It's not as good as the one up above, so that might be a high 4. This might be a low 4, but still, Volume 2, pretty good. When we take a look overall of what I would actually do then, I would say this is definitely a long-term hold, right? You have a beautiful box. That's again something what sealed collectors look for, something that pops, that stands out in your collection, being that it's Sword Art Online as well. If you have all the other collector boxes, this is definitely something that you're going to want for the future. Also inside of here we have Asuna, which again has been pretty strong when you take a look at all the SPs from the previous sets. It's not $15,000 strong, but it's definitely something that'll be worth a bunch of money. We have the serial numbers as well. If you get that Asuna 1 out of 10, then you can only imagine how much that's going to be worth. And now we have overframe rares. So again, that Kirito down there is basically the same price as the Asuna that we have on Yuyute, right? So it definitely is a very beautiful card, as the other two are. Definitely I would love to have a Mother's Rosario overframe rare. I think that's just going to be really, really cool looking. And because of this, because of everything I just said there, I feel like this set is definitely going to be open. You're going to see a lot of people opening this, trying to pre-sell it, trying to sell a bunch of play sets. So I think play sets in this case could be okay again. We don't know what the supply is. I will tell you that I've been seeing this thing starting to dry up, like as in sell out of booster boxes. Some of the places I've seen are already gone. If you haven't bought it yet, you might want to consider doing it soon. And because of that, like what I said about it's going to be open, you could buy some play sets if you wanted to, if the price is right, but you can also wait for singles, as again, I would imagine some collector type people are going, or investors are, and just in general, I guess people that make play sets are going to be opening this set and selling off the cards. They're not going to be able to sell all the play sets, which means singles are going to end up on TCG Player and should be readily available. But if this is like a Heaven's Feel 2 supply thing, you're not going to have that many chances to pick up singles. If this is more like a Kaguya situation, then you're going to be able to get some singles. I don't know which way it's going to go. My feeling is it might be in between there. Just because if these places are already selling out of it, maybe there's wiggle room to get more. Just because of what we know what's happening with COVID, maybe they'll be able to up the amount they can print. Right, add an additional order. I don't know for sure. All I know is there is some opportunity where there is timing where they possibly can do that. And like I said, this thing has been selling. So hope this helps. For me personally, again, like I said, I am definitely going to be holding on to this set. It looks really cool just in general. I personally love the series, and if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and do that. I mean, I thought it was really fun if you like these kind of animes.